Hello everybody, welcome to Tamiyo's Journal. My name is Tom and I'll be your chronicler, and we're here today to play some Magic. So what goes on in the journal is I take games from paper and bring them over to Arena, showcase some of the fun decks I've been playing with and kind of the general tips and tricks on how I play them. So not all games will be winners, but at least we can have some fun whilst we're playing them. And I don't just play meta decks as well, I also like to build fun and janky brews, so if you are interested in those kind of things, please stick around and see how it goes. So if you do like what you see, you can check out the full article of how the paper games went over on our website, which is tamiyosjournal.com. And if it's not too much trouble to ask as well, if you wouldn't mind doing the usual YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and if you do have any questions, I'll be able to answer them as soon as I possibly can as well. So let's jump into the deck today and see what we're playing with. So this is Naya Aggro-ish, and I say Aggro-ish very lightly. It's not a mid-range deck to me. You're curving out of 5, but there's no 1-drop, so I can't really be called a true aggro deck, but the general game plan of this one is to use a lot of 2-drops and 3-drops that are really utility based, and then can I get more advantage through the board and can I hit every kind of deck in the format rather than just being like very tuned against aggro or very tuned against control or very good against Team of Reclamation at the moment. I want to have a catch-all deck that you can just jump onto the ladder with and see how it goes. So I kind of was wanting to initially build a Gruul Stompy deck at the start of Ravnica Allegiance. I completely forgot about it. I probably will return to that list because there's been a ton of amazing War of the Spark spoilers for things that I really want to try, but for the moment I was like, I'm just wanting to build an aggro deck that's kind of fun, but also I want to be a little bit bigger than the other aggro decks. So we play really well into White Weenie, all our creatures are a little bit bigger than theirs. We play really well against Mono Red, we've got tons of life gain. And Rhythm of the Wild as well is really good into control. It's almost devastating for them if they can't deal with it. If they don't have the Mortify, then you're gonna be able to resolve all your creatures, which is, kind of the main problem against control. So the split cards in the deck are pretty handy as well. You've got things like Collision Colossus and Integrity Intervention as well. Intervention's really handy, it's a lightning helix, it'll gain you life. Integrity's pretty good, it can catch a lot of people out if they're not doing the mass and trying to include an extra 2 damage and 2 toughness. We've got things like Collision in there to kind of deal with flyers, so it deals cleanly with Dim Mizzet in one go. It deals with Lyra, it also deals with Thief of Sanity, it's only a 2-mana trade. And the Colossus is actually really handy as well, the +4/+2 and the trample effect. If your creatures are big enough, it can kind of just catch your opponent out of nowhere sometimes, and especially if you've got every other piece on the board as well, like Tristani and Shalai, your creatures are going to be huge at that point, so it's basically turning a load of dorks into something that are extraordinary, which is pretty fun. So sideboard wise, we've got some more creatures in there as well. We've got Remorseful Cleric, which deals with graveyards. We've got Legion Warboss if we need to go wider. Unbreakable Formation if our opponent has a lot of sweepers. And Cindervines was a card that I thought was amazing. It deals with Team of Reclamation so easily. They can't cast any spells without taking a load of damage. It stacks as well, which is pretty handy. Deafening Clarion's in there, just an additional sweeper, but the lifelink can be really handy if we fall a little bit behind. And as well, if we've started mentoring our creatures properly, Deafening Clarion won't always hit them. Null-Eyed Ferox is another card I think is going to be quite useful. There's a lot of Dimmer going to go in about at the moment, so if they make you discard this, it comes back to the battlefield as a 6/6 with Hexproof. Obviously puts you well ahead on board and keeps everything going. So we'll just jump over and talk about a couple more of the cards before we head into the game. So the main 3 dorks of our deck are Tajik, Knight of Om, and Gruul Spellbreaker. Tajik's really handy, it has haste, mentor, and prevents all non-combat damage, and the first strike can catch a lot of people out sometimes. Knight of Om's kind of our catch-all. I can't sing this card's praises enough. Being able to either make a 4/3 or gain 4 life against aggro is really great and can trade with a lot of things, but also being able to destroy target artifact or enchantment is really handy at the moment. So there's things like Curious Obsessions running around, there's things like Ixalan's Bindings, Conclave Tribunals, there's Search for Azcanta and Wilderness Reclamation, which can be devastating if you don't deal with them. So you can hit a lot of things with this card as well. Spellbreaker as well, being able to riot and put a +1/+1 counter Aura of Haste is really flexible as well. And the trample is really handy to have as well. If you're able to use this with Colossus, you're going to be able to push through a ton of damage against tokens. The Hexproof is going to make sure it's going to be safe on your turn as well, so that, it's going to be an immediate threat that your opponent has to deal with on their turn, and basically throws them off curve on their mana, which can be devastating in the right kind of matchup. Also, he's destroying Experimental Frenzy, which is really funny as well in the art, so very appreciative of that. So the other 2-drops that you were looking to be playing early are Growth Chamber Guardian and Thorn Lieutenant. Growth Chamber Guardian is really useful if you're going to be able to adapt it on your opponent's turn or just before combat damage and have a 4/4 and then be able to get another 2/2. Thorn Lieutenant is the same kind of thing. If someone targets it, you're going to get a token. It's not a total loss if you lose it, but it's really useful against blocking some of the mono red creatures. And both these cards have late game potential as well, which is important. So in the late game, if you resolve a Growth Chamber Guardian, you can get 4 Growth Chamber Guardians out and have them on the board. Or Thorn Lieutenant can be, you know, this massive threat that your opponent has to block, otherwise it's going to deal a ton of damage to their face. So really both two little cards that kind of don't do much early but can be useful, and then develop into the later game without having to compromise the integrity of the deck as well, which is really good. So Rhythm of the Wild is the last kind of card that brings the whole deck together. Having your creatures uncounterable is amazing against control, and then having the flexibility to either give them haste or a +1/+1 counter can be really useful in the right kind of matchups. But it's okay to sideboard this card out occasionally if you need to. It's not the glue that brings the whole deck together, but it's just such an uplifting thing that makes all these creatures even better, even though they're individually sound by themselves. So against things like mono red, you can make them really good blockers. Against things like other mid-range decks, you can either be hasty and just kind of ahead on the board, or you can just again go bigger for against things like Jadelight Rangers or Merfolk Branchwalkers. And then yeah, obviously against control, this is a game winner. And yeah, against things like mono white, you can just kind of go again bigger and stop all their creatures coming through. Even if they've got things like buffed up night tokens, at least you're going to be able to block them and probably still have a creature around to survive as well. So we'll jump into a couple of games and see how we do. So generally you want to be on the play with this deck, and unfortunately we've got a one-lander, so we'll mulligan that down. And this is a little bit better. Hopefully draw a third land. That'll do. So blue, hopefully not mono blue. Mono blue it is. So we've got things like Crawl Harpooner, which can deal with these Storm Tamers pretty quickly. I don't think he's going to drop a Curious Obsession on it. Wow. Fair enough. Let's see what kind of protection he has. If he has Spell Pierce, we're going to be really far behind. But we do have Night Autumn as well to blow it up, so that's fine. So we're going to try and get the Harpooner down. This is more likely to get countered than a creature, unless they've got things like Essence Capture, but 1 mana Spell Pierce really. Maybe an Opt. And we're just going to trade that off because it is too powerful. Might have a dive down. Yep, that's fine. At least we can block into it this turn. That's great. So yep, just go for the trade. Goodbye, Curious Obsession. Perfect. So Mistcloak. Interesting. So we're going to try and get a Spellbreaker down. Big threat. And we're just going to go hasty. Go for the race. So just start putting the pressure on mono blue. They might have another Curious Obsession in hand, but 1 damage versus 3 damage. We'll see who wins. So we're going to go to damage first, then try and play Shalai. Great blocker as well into Tempest Djinn as well. Retorts it. Full price retort as well though. Wow. So yeah, I haven't really tried this deck into mono blue too much yet, so pretty excited to see how it goes. Yep, and these are starting to resolve a bit more cleanly. And yep, opponent doesn't want it. Couldn't handle it. Fair enough. So against mono blue, we're going to bring in things like Cindervines, just as an extra way to destroy things, and Deafening Clarion. Going to get rid of 1 Shalai, 1 Tristani, one of these, and one of those. Keep our options kind of looser again, but yeah, maybe go down to Rhythm of the Wild as well, actually. And that could be quite useful, actually, against Tempest Djinn, so we're going to keep that in. Then we're going to drop down all the integrities. So yeah, obviously Cindervine's really good at destroying Curious Obsessions. Every time they want to cast a spell as well, it's going to deal some damage to them. So yeah, we'll run it like that and see what happens. So yeah, we'll see how game 2 goes. Hopefully have a similar result. So I was playing this deck on Sunday against a couple of other decks that I thought would be kind of a good matchup in our local tournament. We're going to have to shift this as well, as it's a 1-lander, although it'd be so good to keep. That's fine, we'll keep that. Yep, there's our land, perfect. So I was playing against a Simic Nexus deck and a Sultai mid-range deck, which were pretty devastating. I was, very unlucky, kept 2 landers, didn't draw a land for 6 turns. It was, pretty upsetting. but such is the way of the card sometimes, I guess, so that's fine. So we'll be able to trade here with Terramander freely as well, which is really handy, so that's fine. And yep, now we've got a great blocker as well against Tempest Djinn. We can buff it up if we need to. So Rhythm of the Wild would be pretty good if we can get it down cleanly. I don't want to play it into something that's just like a negate as a turn 3 play, but having our creatures uncounterable against a blue deck is going to be really useful. But he's not giving us that, so I think we're gonna probably just play Growth Chamber, see if we can get it down. Yep, that's fine. Sweet. So we can adapt this as well, make it a 4/4, kind of a bigger threat. Let's see, will you Djinn? Interesting. So yep, we'll try and play now. If not, we can get the Cindervines down if he does decide to counter it. If he's paying full cost for a Wizard's Retort, we'll be in good state. That's fine, just get in for another 5. So keeping our options open there. Thought I had more mana than we actually did, but that's okay. So we'll go for a Spellbreaker, see if we can bait that out, and then play Cindervines. And that'll just be incremental damage that'll just add up. Yep, that's okay. Great. So that goes down cleanly, perfect. So every time our opponent casts a spell, gonna be taking 1 damage, and then we can sack it, destroy an artifact or enchantment, deal 1. Really, really versatile card in a couple of matchups. But we'll see what they do now. Might start bouncing our stuff maybe. Ooh, takes it. It's pretty nifty. So if we get Tristani as well, it's a card that's really, really good in that kind of situation where it brings back our creature. Something that I didn't really consider at first, but when I kind of thought about it, I was like, oh yeah, that's great. So we're going to just try and Colossus this as well. And that'll be it. Nice. So pretty easy against mono blue there. Didn't expect that to go as well as it did. Yeah, good first victory. So we'll jump over to game 2 and yeah, hopefully do the same. So we'll take the play. Wanna kind of hit the ground running. Oh, and that's a nice opening hand. That's a straight keep. So we've got turn 2, we've got turn 3, and we got something to build up towards as well. Oh, white weenies maybe? So best card against white weenies, a 3/2. Blocks a lot of their stuff. Oh. Oh. Could be Esper. What's the deck? Can I Esper mid-range? So we're just going to get Tajik down here. I think we're just going to send him in as well. The Mentor trigger is pretty handy. Makes this a lot bigger. So sideboard wise, we'll have a lot of great tech against this. Having the Deafening Clarion, really, really useful. Oh dear. So, yep, we're going to get rid of that straight away. So, use the Lightning Helix or Intervention. Get rid of Thief, gain some life. Swing in for 6. So just keep the pressure on as well. I really like the idea of this Hero Precinct 1 deck. It is pretty susceptible to things like sweepers and everything, but yep, we are very, very ahead on board, so that's fine. So we'll just play it down to Shani now that we know we can. No blue mana to block it. Get some extra creatures. So we can make tokens too as well, which is pretty good. Yep, so hopefully they don't take anything useful with Thief. They might get a blocker out of it when they do swing with it, but we'll see what happens. So opponent digging through our deck. But they may have forgotten though, if they do play a blocker, we will get it back with Tristani. So we'll see if our opponent misplays it. Ooh, Basila Bellhaunt. Nice. So we're going to discard Thorn the Tenant. This is going to be really good if we want to get more out. So, yep. So we'll go to attacks. Send in everything, keep the pressure on. We can obviously give this first strike if we want to. We're going to gain more life. Have an extra little creature. So this is really the deck showing off its synergies now. So, yep. That's fine. So we give Tajik first strike. Goes in well with that. So opponent's down to 5, we're on 22, it's pretty good. We're just going to play out Growth Chamber Guardian. And yep, just standing trigger. So yeah, Thief of Sanity kind of becomes moot. With just Sanity, so he's going to get in. And we've created this really good wide board state against this deck that is also trying to do the same thing. Ooh, bins a lot there. So he didn't take it to Tajik himself. He might have taken a sweeper or something, maybe a pump spell. Ooh, another Bacilla Bell Hump. Yep, so just swing in with most of the guys again. Mentor up our other guy. Oh, forgot to send this guy in, unfortunately. Oops. So we'll take action, grab another one. And see how our opponent blocks this time. So yep, has to get rid of his hero now. That's fine. Again, we're just going to keep playing out creatures. Try and go so wide that they can't deal with it. We'll just play out everything. God forbid if they actually do have a sweeper, but probably quite unlikely. So it gets in with Thief. Let's see what they take off us. I haven't played against this deck in ages. I've only played against it once on paper actually, but yeah, I really like the idea of just making a ton of tokens and then swinging in with them all. It does seem like a really fun deck. So opponent's got 3 of our cards, hasn't played any of them. Let's see what they think about doing. And scoops up. Cool, so against tokens, I think we're going to bring in some unbreakable formations, as they're probably going to think about maybe destroying our stuff at some point. And we'll probably bring in the Legion War Bosses as well, and the Deafening Clarions. We're going to go down Shalai. A couple of Shalais, going to go down to the splits there. Don't want to really get rid of Shastani. Maybe go down a couple of Spellbreakers for the Legion War Bosses just so we can keep up the token plan. And we'll go down a Rhythm of the Wild and Integrity as well. As they may have seen that, they probably won't fall for that trick if they've seen it or they've taken one of the cards already. So yep, we're running like this. And straight into it as well. Perfect. So I think I'm going to try and keep this. 3 Harpooners is going to be really good into Thief of Sanity on 3. And as well as 3 2-drops. Hopefully we draw a land. Oh, don't punish me now. So this was like in the similar hands that I was able to keep on Sunday and then did get ridiculously punished for. So yep. Well, at least we got all our colors. So unfortunate. But we can at least start playing out the Harpooners next turn. If they do decide to slam a Thief now, which is what it's looking like with them shocking themselves so much. Oh, Dovin, nice. So yep, gonna start making a lot of tokens, start using Dovin's ultimate pretty quickly. At least we can fight the tokens with the Harpooners. Gets in for 2. That's fine. So yep. So we're just going to play that tapped. No reason to shock ourselves. So at least we can start trading with these little Thopters as well. Does kind of keep Dovin off a lot of stuff, which is pretty good, but yeah, we'll see if we want to trade with Hero Precinct. Don't think they're going to send in. I think they're going to try and build as wide as possible, but we've got mana now for Deafening Clarion. If we draw it, we can sweep the board. Goes for the Surveil, nice. And yeah, I mean, I love this deck, but I can't really remember how will they get around pumping everything. Yep, 4th land. Ooh, Thought Erasure. Takes the Tristani straight away. Perfect. Well, we didn't have a sweeper they could just take, which is pretty good. So, yep, I'm just gonna try and catch up on the board a little bit. And obviously, yeah, Crawl Harpooners can have ability there where you get the Undergrowth trigger. Really good against things like Tempest Gins, or is it Drakes as well? So yeah, I love this card as well though. A little bit of everything. Now, how are we gonna get around this? So yep, probably just gonna kill Dovin. Nope, that's the wrong side. As he's gonna be a massive threat if we don't. So opponent's just gonna keep going wider and wider. Hopefully we draw a sweeper pretty quickly. Oh no. And my least favorite card. Oh, beautiful art, at least on the Teferi. Do we double trade? No. Oh, that's a card. So Spellbreaker hopefully resolves. I'm just gonna give it haste, send it to Teferi at least. Try and deal with some of these tokens. So yep, main plan now is to try and get rid of Teferi. It's gonna be pretty tough. Yeah, the card advantages you're gonna get is just crazy. I was thinking about putting things like Beast Whisperer in the deck, but yeah, can't really decide if it's worth it or not. I mean, obviously it's a 4 mana card with a lot of upside if we can kind of get that rolling, because we are running 27 creatures. But again, quite high end on the spot. Oh no. Ooh, bit of a card. So it takes all our Harpooners. If we can find something to deal with this, it would be pretty good, but yeah, we'll just block one of these tokens. Ooh, this is quite an interesting board state. Good swing though. So, yep, just get on Rhythm of the Wild. Maybe last a couple more turns, but might have lost the board presence. If we draw another land, we can at least start pumping Thorn Lieutenant, but they can chump it pretty easy. Cast down as well, nice. So yep, in a bit of a pickle. Need to figure out a way to deal with Teferi, but we shall see what happens. Yep, so just no blocks. At least we can deal one back to Teferi maybe. Nice, there for the scales. Love this card as well. Fantastic little angel with a lot of upside. Lightning Strike. That will unfortunately not do it, but will keep us alive for an extra turn. And the bonus of all our creatures now getting a +1/+1 counter. Great. So yep, we will have one of them fight Seraph. But they are going to get the Afterlife tokens. And it's kind of now that I wish I had things like Thud in the deck. Could do a ton of damage to Fairy at least. Shame that the Afterlife triggers happen afterwards and you can't use them to then fight those, but oh well. So yeah, opponent has pretty much got the board under control. We'll see what else they play. But at least we can trade into the Battlehorn if they do send that in. I think we're basically dead. Although if they don't swing with everything, I'd be quite worried. Just swing with everything, I'm dead. So yeah, block token. Again, that's 3, 4. Oh, down to 1. Should have swung with both of those. And yep, that is us dead. Deafening Clarion here could have maybe saved us, but unfortunate. So yep, we'll go into game 3. Hopefully be able to draw a sweeper in time this time. So is there anything else we want to really bring in? How do we deal with a Teferi? So yes, we're going to put these back in. Haste is really useful against that. And we're going to go down a Night of Autumn and an Unbreakable. Since they're just using single target removal, we should be okay. So yep, Spellbreaker, very, very good if you want to hit Teferi quickly. So hopefully they don't have Hero in their opening hand again, but let's see what happens. So we'll take the plate. Oh, nice opening hand. So yep, this way we can at least get Rhythm, we can get Tajik, and opponent starting out tapped. Great. So we'll just get the early pressure down, put down Thorn Lieutenant. And then we'll see what they play here. If they play a creature, they're not playing a creature. Great. So we'll get down Rhythm of the Wild. Hopefully they don't have a Mortify. If they do, it's not the end of the world. We do have Tashik. It's going to do some great work here. Yep. So all our creatures are uncountable, so now we just go for it. Yep, there's the Mortify. Unfortunate. But Tashik's still going to resolve. And that's a lot of damage coming at your opponent. Nice. We'll just pop that in tapped. So yeah, we've got Spellbreaker for next turn if we want to just kind of keep going and keep hitting them. That's fine. 1 token. So opponent's tapped out here. Probably going to Lightning Strike their Hero Precinct 1, just get it off the board. We'll see if they do try and take the trade first though. Yeah, Shalai would be good to kind of develop it. So we'll send everything in first, see what they do. We can either first strike this. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, just gonna clean the board up here. Really don't want to have this generating a load of tokens. Next turn we can obviously play Shalai if we need to, but that would have happened anyway. So that's fine. So this is good so far, so we'll just play another Tajik. It's got haste. Keep it going. So opponent's on a 2-turn clock now. And there's Teferi. So he's probably going to go for the tuck. Spellbreaker, haste into it. Yep, this is all good. And there's our Clarion. So haste. So just get rid of Teferi. Probably should have gone face there, but again, just don't want to risk Teferi popping off somehow and just giving him a ton of advantage. Oh, Seraph of the Scales, huh? Nice. So, how do we do this? So opponent might have cast down, so it might not be worth playing Shalai just yet. Trample over damage if we use Crawl Harpooner is at least going to go face, so probably do that. Opponent does have 2 mana, so they might have a counter. So yeah, we'll just fight that. Ah, that's unfortunate. Yeah, no attacks yet. So yeah, if we did make our Spellbreaker pretty big there. Oh, Thought Rager as well. Ouch. So if we made our Spellbreaker a 4/4, Deafening Clarion would have been able to clean this up without having to worry about us killing off their own Spellbreaker. Well, you know that's going to get taken. That was silly. Put him with the oops. Oh well. So yep. So we're just Clarion. Get back our hasty Spellbreaker, that's fine. Go in. So that worked out pretty good for us. Oh, hero, so we can generate some tokens. Oh, and a Dovin as well. It's hard to be a genius surrounded by lesser minds. Okay, so how do we do this? If we put Tajik in, he blocks Tajik. And then he has to block to... Still not that favored. We just need to get 1 damage through though. So we send this any blocks, 1, 2, 3 tokens or hero, and then that. So send the Spellbreaker at face. That's fine, clean up the tokens. Play Tajik, hold up a lightning strike, I guess. See where he goes with it. Land, maybe? So just send that face just now. So opponent's gonna go back up to 2. Doesn't need to kill us, so we just need either 1 spell for reach or something. So just send Tajik in, start killing off some of these creatures at least. We can give him first strike, but we'll see how many times he blocks. So yep, first strike really handy. Oh, Mortify as well. Oh, this will be really unlucky if we don't draw something that we can use here, but fingers crossed. Oh, and another hero. Wow. So Dovin's gonna get quite a lot of value. Oh, another land. Unlucky. So see what he does. It's dead to lightning strike. Needs a Basila to get out of that. So Dovin's gonna get to ultimate next turn. Find some sort of answer. Oh, another land for us. Bit unlucky. So 3 cards to hand. Let's see what he goes for. Basila, Basila, Basila. It's a bit of a shame we don't actually get to know what it is either, but yeah. So I probably have misplayed there somewhere, but that's okay. It's all a learning experience when you're playing new decks. Very nice indeed. But yeah, quite cool to see this deck actually working as well. Would love to build maybe a variation on it, maybe with Mardu or something, so you've got Judith that you can at least pump the tokens and then, yeah, we'll see what happens. Ooh. So, just have to sweep the board, keeps us around for a little bit. And yeah, hopefully draw something hasty, but we'll see what happens. Trying to think what the best draw we could possibly have right now is. Maybe like Tristani or something. Oh, we'll see what we draw. Oh. So good game to our opponent. Let him swing in for the win. Disinformation campaign as well. Ah, well, Naya bought him very useful against that as well. So an unfortunate loss there. Yeah. But these things happen. Bit unfortunate, but a good game nonetheless. So the deck didn't do too bad there. We took down mono blue pretty handily, and the Esper mid-range deck, it was a pretty close battle. Unfortunately, we didn't quite get ahead, but you know, people are going just as wide as we're trying to do. Yeah, I can see it being a close matchup either way. There was a little bit of a misplay there, I guess, against the Teferi. I probably should have just gone face or taken out the Hero Precinct 1, which would be the kind of change there, but you know, these things happen, that's fine. The deck itself, I think, is pretty good, minus the mana base. I think it needs a little bit of work. We don't really have enough kind of creatures that are warriors to use things like the Unclaimed Territory to kind of fix it, but in theory it should have worked. It's a little bit sparse in some of the things, but I mean, overall it was okay. Naya is just such a good card. I think it's really much an auto-include if you're playing those colors, and Spellbreaker was pretty cool as well. I think maybe either sticking to the 2 colors if you're trying to build this kind of mid-rangey deck would probably be the best way to do it. Obviously in Boros you've got the Angel package, in green and white you've got some other creatures that would be pretty helpful. I mean, there's the Explore stuff. They kind of do the same thing and also have the kind of idea of cycling, which is quite useful. There's no card draw on the deck at all or any way to kind of manipulate it, so that's a bit unfortunate. I think the Thorn Lieutenants are really powerful as kind of a late game option, and the Growth Chamber Guardian. And Tristani as well is just really powerful. I think it's a fantastic card that has a lot of upside, and really good if a lot of people are playing Dimmer or Esper at the moment as well. So notable changes I'd make, I'd maybe work on the removal a little bit more in this deck. I think having things like Conclave Tribunal or Excellence Bindings are really important because they're hard to deal with. Lightning Strikes are okay, but I mean, it's just a bit of extra reach. You know, I'm sure we could play something else, or the Integrity Interventions are pretty good. You know, I'd rather have them over the Lightning Strikes, and then maybe play some more kind of solid removal to deal with big creatures. But overall, a really fun deck. I was really happy with the way it worked, and yeah, not too bad. So yeah, I guess I'm probably going to tweak this a little bit more and try to maybe divide it up into a couple of different things for War of the Spark, but we'll have to wait and see. So the most important part of Magic for me is the community, and I would absolutely love for you guys to get involved as well. If you have any kind of deck tips or decks that you'd like to share, if you just pop me a message over on social media, I'll be able to take a look, try and give you some help and kind of tips and tricks on how I would get around building things, and yeah, we can all just kind of share this together as well, which would be great. So thank you so much for watching, guys. If you like what you saw, you know, please do the usual YouTube stuff, like, subscribe. We've also got our page over on Patreon as well if you want to support the channel further. There's going to be some sweet perks up on there. And if you do want to see how the paper games went as well, please check out the full article over on our website, tamiyosjournal.com. So Tamiyo's Journal is also part of the Creators Quarter community. This is basically a group of us that have been working together to generate some great Magic content, and you'll be able to find all their stuff in the playlist in the top right, just over here. And if you're looking for more standard content, why not check out the rest of our playlist over here as well. So thank you so much again for watching, and I will see you again soon. Cheers.